you. My name is Carrington, and if you don't know me, now you know me, and you're so much better for it. So today's video is going to be very stripped down, as you can probably tell clearly, because I'm wearing the dawn on my chest and sweats. So something is different. I have to talk about something that I feel can help a lot of people, and is also very personal to me. It's just been something that I've been working through and going through the motions of within the past year and some change. So I just really wanted to talk about that, and that is OCD. OCD has been something that I've had for a long time, but it was recently something that I was actually diagnosed with, and I've been working through all of the ways in order to help myself be my best and feel my best, and to work through something that can feel very insurmountable at times. And I feel like a lot of the times I wished that I had someone to look at and to hear what I am going to talk about today, and I want to be that. That's what we're going to talk about today. The couch is open. I hope that you are seated. I hope that you are comfortable, because we have things to discuss. So I'm going to try not to be perfectionistic about the way that I am filming this. Mind you, have filmed this twice. Not even twice. This is my third time filming, actually. Don't lie to the camera. I'm going to do my best to not do too much. OCD for me, and I feel like the best way to describe it, is the everything everywhere all at once disorder, because normally the mind is literally everywhere at once. It is hopping from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and it's constant, consistent, a cyclical, repetitive cycle of just irrational thoughts, ongoing thoughts, intrusive thoughts, things that are just coming into your mind and are very loud, and that can distract you and overwhelm you on a day-to-day basis. I think a lot of that has to do with fear, of course, and worries. There's a lot of things that just can be triggered within you that become obsessive, become obsessions, and that loudness, that noisiness are those obsessions that can overwhelm you, and that can take up so much space in your mind that you almost lose your bearings, and you actually start to follow suit. You start to do everything everywhere all at once. You start to do everything, trying to negate or combat, minimize, abate all of what is going on in your mind. And that can lead to the compulsions that is often talked about within OCD. So I think that's a great way to describe it. That's how it is for me. Prior to getting diagnosed, just for years, I felt like my mind was loud. Like there was just loud ass speakers in my brain just sounding off on the most heinous things ever. And I think there's a lot of topics or a lot of subsects within OCD that your brain can get attached to. Often the most common thing that people talk about when they think about OCD is like the cleanliness, or the people that have issues with germs or fear of germs. And that is a specific aspect of OCD, but it's not all of it. And I think that that's kind of what deterred me to some extent when I would think about, is this what's going on with me? Because I was comparing what I was experiencing to something that has been widely talked about in that way. And with OCD, there can be a variety of things that your mind decides to amplify, or that it hyperfixates on. It can be very random, it can be very out there, but it can also have certain topics like, of course, germs and cleanliness and organization, but also things like health and relationships and people's perception of you, religion and death and existentialism. And it's kind of like a train, if that makes sense. So there's a front of the train, of course, and then there's cabooses. That's kind of what it feels like OCD kind of does. There's like a route to the trigger, and then there's trailing things that your mind can kind of go to, and it just becomes this domino effect of like, this one thing triggers this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing, and then it becomes this larger issue that then becomes so incredibly overwhelming and insurmountable and scary. I think a big portion of OCD is this hanging cloud of dread. It feels like a storm is always coming, and that you're always in danger, and that something is lurking that you just feel, and that feeling is anxiety, and you don't know what to do about it. You don't know what's going on, and you start doing things in a way to try to minimize that feeling, and that's where compulsions come in. And a lot of those times, those can be physical, of course, but there are also a lot of mental compulsions, which I don't think is talked about as often. And that is a lot of what I experience. And it's a lot of repetitive habits or actions trying to basically combat the rise of anxieties or obsessions that I'm feeling. So it can be repeating a prayer over and over and over and over, or you have a negative thought that is wild and that you don't want to happen, and then you instantly follow up with something that can negate it, that is positive. And I, being a very spiritual person, this can be very scary for me, because I believe that your words have power and that you create your own reality. And a lot of the times, if there are thoughts that are like saying the worst possible thing, I am instantly like, oh my God, I'm going to create this, and I need to instantly do something to stop this from happening. And then that starts a cycle of doing certain things, trying to combat the fear that you're having. And that can become so incredibly exhausting. One, the noise in your mind is incredibly exhausting, period. But all of the actions to try to silence the noise or dim it down is a process that is so draining and taxing on your body and your mind. So for a long time, I was just going through it and it felt normal. And there would be periods of time where things would be happening and it would get worse. And I was like, what is this thing? I don't know what it is, or I do know what it is, but I'm second guessing and validating myself because I'm like, no, it's not that. It's not this, which I think comes to my point of you understanding that you should trust yourself. Trusting yourself is the most important thing, period. But especially when it comes to things that are going on with you, because you are you. You know what's going on in your mind. You know how you feel. You know what you're processing and experiencing on a day-to-day basis. Those experiences matter, and you don't have to compare yourself or ask anybody else for validation to understand what's going on with you. It was a lot of invalidating and a lot of just surviving. I feel like a big part of this disorder is survival. You are in a state of fight or flight constantly, and you're just trying to do whatever it takes to survive the next moment, because each moment feels dangerous. Each moment feels like it is the end of the world or the end of your life. And it's usually those very black or white type of thoughts of like, this is the end of the world. This small thing on the outside is a huge major. If this does not happen perfectly in my control as I want it to, the world is blowing up. Endgame, Armageddon, it's done for. It's never that serious, but it feels that serious. And I went through such a long series of events that were so heavily influenced by dread. It came to a head last year where I was just feeling so incredibly anxious all the time, and it felt like everything was dangerous and that I couldn't do anything to keep it from happening, but I was doing so many things trying to keep it from happening, trying to have some semblance of control. And I was exhausted constantly. I was having panic attacks literally every night, thinking that I was dying. Literally, I felt like I was dying. I went to the hospital so many times, not even because I had to, but because I was convinced something was going on. It was so many months of just struggle, and I wasn't able to do much of anything. And I would get up in the morning and I remember looking in the mirror and being like, I can't even get ready today because I legitimately don't have the energy to even do that. The energy that it took to walk from my bed to the bathroom was enough. And that's is something that I feel like is so important to talk about when it comes to mental health. Mental health is such a battle when it comes to your body as well. Like, it's not only what's happening in your mind, which is enough, but it can impact negatively your body in such a drastic way that really needs to be studied. It is studied, but like it's insane. But it honestly took months for me to really snap out of it and be like, I have to do something because I can't live like this. This is not living. I'm truly surviving. And from there, I started finding small things to do. And this is what I would encourage anybody with OCD or just with mental health related issues to do. I think a lot of the times we get stuck in this idea that we need to do everything and that our routines have to be extensive and our dreams and our goals have to be extensive and these big grandiose things, when really the most you need to do is small little steps that can get you prepared and ready for larger moves. And specifically for me having OCD, and for anybody that has OCD, I think that smaller is bigger. Slow and steady runs the race. The hare and the freaking turtle. Just think about that story and operate on that mindset. Little things make big wins. Sometimes you have to think, okay, I'm going to wake up today and the one thing that I can potentially do right now is meditate. And I'm going to meditate and then I'll see what I can do after that. It's going step by step, moment by moment, and not trying to put so much on yourself because you're already most likely dysregulated, overstimulated, overwhelmed. All these lists of things that you have to do is not going to help. And it's ultimately going to put you in a position where you're further dysregulated. But I ended up really just looking for coping mechanisms to help me to regulate my nervous system. And I just tried things. I tried small things. And what stuck for me was EFT tapping, a godsend, and somatic shaking, which is also another godsend, another bomb. Those two things combined helped me so much, and I think can be very helpful to anybody who wants to try those things, because I feel like it really does help you to move that energy and those emotions out of your body in a way that allows you to process things without it staying stuck. I would say to find what helps you and to actually seek it out. That is so crucial. That is so pivotal for you finding a basis to a routine, making sure that you do one thing that you know truly helps every day, even when you're feeling great, but doing it as a way to ground yourself and to return to yourself after whatever day you're having or before whatever day you're going to have. Just making sure that you have some footing and that you are grounded in you and in a foundation that will allow you to navigate within your life in a way that is helpful for you. Journaling also helped a lot, but I also found that like turning on a voice memo and just speaking, blurting out whatever happened, whatever was happening in my mind, because a lot of the thoughts that I feel like people that have OCD have can be very gnarly. They can just be and you feel like if you were to say any of those things to anybody that they would deem you as a horrible person. But I would say those things in the comfort of my own car, in my own room, whatever the case was, on the phone. And I would just talk and talk and talk and talk until it felt like my brain was emptying. Finding those little things to add to or to serve as a basis to your routine is so pivotal and so crucial and has helped me to get to where it is that I am now. All of that finding and all that searching and trying things really helped me not only to get to where it is that I am, but helped me to build something that allowed for me to actually seek help after that, because coping mechanisms are so incredibly needed, but sometimes you need extra guidance, you need extra support. That can be therapy, that can be psychiatry. I looked at both, but working through those things and actually putting myself in a position where I am using resources and I am talking to other people outside of myself. And I was only able to get there by using coping mechanisms and another sense of grounding to propel me to that step. And I truly recommend doing those things. And maybe you do it out of order. Maybe you go seek somebody else. Like, don't raw dog it. Don't just let it go and let it fester. Don't do all of that. There's no point. Do what is best for you. I really wanted to talk about this, one, because it's something that I am still moving through and something that I'm still going through. Literally today was a doozy. I have a Pisces sun and rising. It does not help either. They be knocking at my door looking for rent money. I don't want to give rent money to either of you. I already got the OCD overlord, the landlord, looking for the payments. But like, it's something that I'm still going through. It's something that I am still learning about in terms of like what triggers me and what I have to be wary of and aware of. But I think talking about it and showing up authentically is so incredibly helpful and is something that I have wanted to do, but also that I looked for when I was going through the thick of it. I hope that this was helpful and that it reached the people that it needed to reach. Know that you're not alone. Know that there are communities and people that understand what's going on with you, and reach out, seek out things that best help you. Thank you for listening to me. If you liked what you heard, come see me again. The couch is always open. It's always comfy and cozy. You see these Care Bears? Like and subscribe if you would like to, and if you'd like to see more of me. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you and good night.